Hello hunters and welcome to the half-assed guide to the charge blade, or how they say in France, le charge blade, or in Spanish, los chargados espadas. I studied these languages by watching questionable animes so I know how to spell them. I will use Xbox controller commands since I'm on PC. Charge blade has two main modes, sword and shield mode and axe mode. You switch from SNS to axe by pressing RT plus Y, and you change back to SNS by pressing RT. You can draw into axe mode by pressing RT with your weapon sheath. Dodging to the sides after any attack while in SNS mode will make you do a quick sidestep instead of a normal roll. The main purpose of SNS mode is to charge phials that will be used while in axe mode. Every SNS attack charges the sword by different amounts, with Y and B plus Y attacks charging little and the B attacks charging the most. Blocking also charges the sword by a little amount. While in SNS mode, B plus Y is a dashing slash, which is the same as your draw attack. Y plus Y equals 2 weak slashes followed by a circular strong slash that deals decent damage. If you press Y after a sidestep, you'll do the strong slash. If you press Y after a roll, you'll do the second weak slash of the combo. You'll likely almost never use the whole 3Y combo, however the last strong slash is very useful and you'll see why later on. Pressing B will do a weak slash, however if you keep B pressed until you see a little glow from your sword, you will do a strong double attack. This attack charges your sword the most. If you keep it pressed too much, you'll overcharge and it'll do a weak slash. Pressing B plus Y after any SNS attack will do a shield thrust, an attack that has an 8 mind's eye. Press B plus Y again after the shield thrust and you'll do what is called an AED in axe mode and then automatically revert back to SNS mode. How do we charge phials efficiently? Well, your main SNS combo to do it will be a charged B, followed by Y or B plus Y, then rinse and repeat until the phials outline on the top left corner of your screen becomes red. If you overcharge your sword, shown by the red phials outline flashing, your sword attacks will bounce no matter what your sharpness is or where you hit. Once the outline is yellow or red, which you can also see by the color on your sword, press RT plus B to load your shield with phials. If you stop to yellow, you'll only load 3 phials, while red will load 5 phials, or 6 with the capacity boost skill. If you try to load phials without yellow or red, you'll do a longer charge animation that is useless and will hold you in place. Now that you have phials loaded, you want to empower your shield and boost the damage of your axe mode. How to do this? While in axe mode, press B plus Y and then press RT while you're starting the animation. You'll cancel the attack and all your phials will fade away. Goodbye the end. Just kidding, you've just empowered your shield. The shield will glow red, signifying the buffed status, and will stay red for 30 seconds for each phial consumed to charge it. Now the name, Charge Blade, starts making sense. The small shield icon will start flashing if you're on the last 30 seconds of the buff, so charge more phials before the timer ends. Or you'll regret it deeply. While your shield is red, your axe attacks are more powerful and your shield blocking capability is stronger, which means less stamina consumed on successful blocks and less damage taken, and it stacks with guard skills too. Your shield thrust will now also release a phial burst without consuming any phial. Question: do I want to keep phials loaded even if the shield is already red? Answer: yes, cause you're gonna need them during axe mode. Now for the grown-ups axe combos. Normal Y attacks while in axe mode are almost useless, so I'll skip them. B attacks gain the mind's eye skill if you have phials loaded, which means your weapon won't bounce if you hit a hard part. B attacks consume 1 or more phials and generate 1 or more phial bursts on successful hits. The BBB combo of your axe mode is the following. 1 weak slash that consumes 1 phial for 1 burst, followed by a strong double slash that consumes 1 phial for 2 bursts, and then the final attack, which is gonna be explained later. Suspense. If you press B while loading files while in SNS mode, you'll automatically switch to axe mode and do the first B slash of the combo. If your charge blade has impact phials, the phial bursts will do fixed damage no matter where you hit, and also apply stun if you hit the head of the monster, eventually leading to a KO if enough stun is applied. If your charge blade has elemental phials, the bursts will be elemental and the damage will vary based on monster and hit zone weaknesses, and they will not apply stun if you hit the head. Now for the final attack. While your shield is red if you do the last B attack of the B plus B plus B combo. Or if you press B plus Y in idle or after any of the axe attacks, you'll do a super AED, or SAED for short, which is the most powerful attack of the charge blade. This attack hits twice with the axe, a weak sweep and a strong slam, and then discharges all of your loaded phials on the ground in a cone in front of the axe, for a burst of damage based on the number of phials used. Impact phials will be unloaded immediately. Elemental ones have a bit of delay because fuck element in this game. Oh, and phial bursts cannot crit, so the crit element skill and any affinity you have do nothing for phial burst damage. After an SAED, you'll revert back to SNS mode. The only way to increase impact phials damage is to increase your raw attack damage. Likewise, to increase elemental phials damage, you'll want to increase the element of the weapon. Doing an SAED with all phials loaded will almost always stagger whatever monster you're hitting since the damage is really high. At the end of an SAED, you'll be locked in the animation for a fairly long time in Monster Hunter terms, so be careful on when you use it. This attack has a wide range and can send your teammates flying very easily. A better way to get to the SAED is the next one. While in SNS mode, after any attack press B plus Y and then B plus Y again to do a shield thrust into an SAED. And finally, the best and fastest way to get to an SAED. After blocking an attack while in SNS mode, press B plus Y and there you have it. At the start of an SAED, you can press Y plus the opposite direction your character is facing on the left analog stick to do a normal AED instead. This normal AED attack is faster than the SAED, consumes only one phial, and generates 3 bursts, but also does less damage, so you can use it if you don't have time for a super AED. You'll make an AED if you try to do an SAED without red shield. I know this probably could have been explained in reverse, but remember that you always want to have a red shield, so deal with it high. You can also cancel the SAED into an SNS strong slash by pressing RT at the start of the animation. This will charge all of your loaded phials into the shield, like you did to get the shield red, and prolong the red shield buff duration. Many tears are shed every day by hunters forced to cancel an SAED into the SNS slash because they mistimed it. This concludes the guide. Oh wait, there's the whole sword charge and guard points section. So let's say your shield is red but you feel like now your SNS mode is weak AF because the damage is all in the axe mode. Well, fear not, my friend. I'm not your friend. While you're loading phials into your shield, press Y and keep it pressed until you see the shield tightening on your sword, then release it. If you did something wrong and you released too early or too late, you'll do an upward slash. If everything went correctly, you'll do an attack where you slam your sword on the ground. Congratulations, your sword is also empowered now, has tiny cute lightnings sparkling around it, and has gained the mind's eye effect for free, which means you'll never bounce with it no matter where you hit, even if your sword is overcharged. But you'll still consume more sharpness if you hit a zone where you'd normally bounce off from. Also, every sword attack will now unleash a small phial burst without consuming any phial. This means you can apply stun while in SNS mode too if you hit the head. This buff lasts for about 30 seconds. You can only apply this buff if your shield is red. This also works even if you don't have files to load during the loading animation, but it will take a slightly longer time. During the last 10-15 seconds of the buff duration, your sword icon will start flashing, but don't worry, having a charged sword is not as vital as having a red shield, it's just a really handy buff. The sword gets charged even if you're interrupted before you slam the sword down. The important part is the tightening. I honestly didn't know what other word to use. Tightening. And now the best part about Charge Blade, the guard points. Guard points are frames during some attack animations where your hunter put the shield in front of them. If a monster hits you during these frames, you'll automatically block and go into normal guard stance. Guard points also have an aid guard +1, so it's always better to do a guard point when you can. So, where are these guard points frames exactly? 1. When you switch from S&S to Axe mode, at the beginning of the animation. 2. When you switch from Axe to S&S mode, at the end of the animation. 3. When you do the S&S circular slash, at the end of the animation, basically like 2. 4. After cancelling your AED or SAED into a shield charge, at the end of the animation, basically like 2 again. 5. After any S&S attack, if you press B plus a direction on the left stick, you'll do a spinning slash that lets you reposition. The guard point is at the end of the spinning slash animation, basically like okay, it's getting old. There are many things you can do immediately after a normal guard or a guard point. 1. Keep guarding with RT. You pussy. 2. Sidestep left or right or roll forward or backwards with A plus directional input. 3. If you press B plus Y, you'll do an SAED or AED without red shield, but no red shield is really bad as we learned today. You can cancel this SAED into an AED or a shield charge like any normal SAED. 4. Look yourself in the mirror and wonder if maining a CBE was the right choice after all. 5. Press Y to go into Axe mode and do the forward slam. What all of this means is that if you learn how to use guard points properly, you can basically keep attacking the monster by chaining attacks and guard points into each other to keep the assault going without downtime. Final notes: focus is a really handy skill for Charge Blade since you can charge phials faster with it. Bludgeoner is a skill that synergizes pretty well with Diablo's CB if you don't wanna invest in handicraft, since Diablo's CB has short blue and big green sharpness. Bludgeoner basically increases your raw damage when the weapon is in green or lower sharpness. At green it increases your CBE damage by 54 or 15 true raw. This is like having attack boost at 5. Yes, you lose the 1.2 sharpness modifier, but that is not calculated in the phial burst damage. So it's up to you if you want to use it or not. About weapon augments, Life Augment is really good on CB since the huge attacks will heal you for a lot of HP. Attack augments directly increase the damage of impact phials. Affinity augments are good. Honestly, the difference between augmenting for one or the other is not much. You can even augment for a slot if you want. Defense augments are useless as per usual. I won't make a list of what the best CBs for every element or against every monster are, since you can just Google for them and you'll easily find a good amount of answers. Or just use Diablo's Tyrannus to unwreck every monster that dares to traverse your path. Last tip: if you're not thinking of speedrunning, or if you mostly play solo, or if you play with a group of close friends, just craft whatever CB you like the most aesthetically. No need to worry about a few minutes shaved here and there during a run. But if you plan on playing online with unknown people, please, at least out of respect for their time, use the most appropriate CB for the monster. If you're in doubt, just go for Diablo's Tyrannus and you're gold. If you have any question not involving exact damage values or what CB to craft, just ask away in the comment if you didn't already look for them on Google. Thanks for watching. See you in the next videos.